I'm a rich lady, Mike, a black sheep, and I have an open marriage since we got married. There are various female celebrities and internet celebrities around him, coming and going like crucian carp in the river, while I have all kinds of men competing for my attention behind my back. I thought this was how my life would be for the rest of my days, until Mike's crush returned to the country and personally came to pressure me into getting a divorce. I gladly agreed to end the marriage. Then, I turned around, ready to give a formal status to the young man, who was full of admiration for me. Just at that moment, Mike arrived and a violent fight broke out between us. He is mine. On the night of our 7th anniversary, Mike didn't come home. The carefully prepared meal on the table had already gone cold, covered with a disgusting layer of congealed grease. I opened my phone and saw a post on Mike's friends' moments. It was a recent photo showing my husband Mike bowing his head to kiss a woman, showing a gentle and affectionate expression I had never seen in his eyes before. He was holding the girl tightly, as if she were the most valuable thing in the world. That profile stabbed my eyes. Cindy. It wasn't the first time I had seen her. Over the past 7 years, each of Mike's girlfriends more or less resembled her. Now that she had returned, she immediately made her relationship official. Suddenly, I felt I couldn't endure it any longer. I called Mike, but he hung up on me. I called again, only to be hung up on once more. The third time, he finally answered. Cindy's coquettish voice came through. Who's calling? Mike's phone must have had my name saved, so she was being deliberate in making Mike answer. I didn't want to say much to her. It's Susan. Can I speak to Mike, please? My heart felt a squeeze, as if something had tightened inside me. Tell him to come back. I need to talk to him. She chuckled softly. I'll relay the message. But for anything else, it's up to Mike himself. After hanging up, I sat in the darkness for a long time. Tonight, I had a message for Mike. The pregnancy test report was placed on the table, now as redundant as the cold, uneaten dinner. I told myself, if Mike didn't come back tonight, then he didn't need to come back at all. And he didn't return. The next day, I made an appointment with a friend to go to the hospital to get some medication. After hesitating for a long time, I eventually took it. I bled a lot, felt extremely dizzy, and when lying in bed, I felt something flowing out of my heart along with the blood. When Mike finally returned, it was already a week later. He came in, kicked off his shoes, grabbed some ice water, barely glanced at me, and spoke impatiently. What's the matter? Hurry up. I need to leave soon. I gave him a casual glance and slid the divorce agreement I had prepared on the table towards him. The divorce agreement is ready. Take a look at the property division, and if it's fine, sign it. Mike paused his drinking, giving me a puzzled look. You want a divorce? It was the first time since he came in that he looked at me directly. Yes, everyone thought we were a match made in heaven, but only I knew that I actually liked him, and went as far as pleading with my parents to marry him. I thought that love would grow stronger as time went by, but I didn't know. Some people are just born with a cold heart. In the beginning of our marriage, Mike did try to put effort into it. Both of us were getting married for the first time, and there was still a sense of novelty between us. Everything between us was harmonious, and during that time, he hardly went out to play. His friends would call him to go drinking, but he would politely refuse, holding me tightly and saying he wanted to be with his wife. After that, he would act cute and playful with me, asking, "Honey, do you think I'm doing well?" Unable to resist, I laughed and kissed him affectionately. Mike's earnestness and wholeheartedness when trying to please someone could melt even Buddha. We would play games together in the game room, and curl up watching movies in the home theater. Seeing the main characters in movies kiss, the passion would naturally escalate to intimacy. But I still didn't get pregnant. Both his family and mine pressured me greatly, and despite medical reports saying there was nothing wrong with me, they wouldn't stop badgering me to go to the hospital for a checkup. I knew exactly where the problem lay. Every time, Mike would take precautions, so how could I possibly get pregnant? I thought he just wanted to spend time alone with me, and we silently agreed not to bring it up. During those 2 years, I truly loved him. On his birthday, I dressed up as the bunny girl he once mentioned, and presented myself to him in a gift box. But that night, he came back very late, reeking of alcohol. I went up to help him, but he looked at me in a strange way. You'd go this far for me? I subconsciously nodded my head, thinking it was for his birthday. Are you not happy? He stared at me for a long while, his smile somewhat indifferent. Happy? That night, Mike was incredibly rough. It was very painful. The following morning, I woke up blushing and wanting to embrace him, only to find that he was already cold. Mike was tying his tie in front of the mirror. He saw me sitting up through the mirror, with undisguised mockery on his face. "You really go to great lengths for your family. Those people say you look clean, but in private, you're quite wild in your methods. I underestimated you." I was stunned. What people? Where did they come from? I found out later. That day, my father went to see Mike, saying there was a problem with the production line at our family factory, and the funds were cut off, resulting in a large sum of money needing to be compensated. But in reality, it was my stepmother's 2 brothers who were lining their pockets in there. In the end, it was me who was scolded by my father as a jinx. This was the beginning of our rift. Later, I found out his bad mood that night was because Cindy had messaged him. She wished him a happy birthday. Then she asked him, "Will you wait for me forever?" He replied, "I will." Later on, as expected, I fell for it and Mike got very angry. He accused me of being devious. I was confused. We were a normal couple, so why was I labeled as devious? It wasn't until much later that I found out, because my family was declining rapidly. My father was afraid I couldn't bear Mike's child. He and my stepmother actually bribed our family nanny to poke holes in all the coats, hoping that the child wouldn't survive. And I thought it was an accident. Mike was notorious as a playboy, and he knew how to please women. But then he started making all sorts of demands on me, not allowing me to have wavy curls, only permitting straight black hair, not allowing me to wear flashy makeup, only allowing light makeup. At that time, I loved him deeply, and I thought he finally fell in love with me. So his male chauvinism emerged. It wasn't until I saw a photo of him and Cindy in his study that I cried and made a scene, but Mike just gave me a disdainful look and left without saying anything. Later on, he started looking for various female celebrities and Instagram models who resembled Cindy. Until one time, I overheard him and his friends joking in a bar. "She's not really fun to play with, although she looks pure on the surface. She's actually like a piece of wood, no fun to play with at all." His cronies burst into laughter. "Are you sure? Are you afraid she'll get mad?" Mike's slightly drunken voice came in. "What's there to be afraid of? She's just my lapdog. Kicking her won't make her leave." I stood at the door of the private room for a long time, then turned and left. After that, I started looking for various young men as well. Mike didn't care at all. He was sure that I loved him madly, and couldn't believe there was a possibility of me falling for someone else. "What are you causing trouble for again?" Mike frowned. "Didn't we agree to see other people? What more do you want?" There may have been something to say in the past. Now, it's probably just nausea. "Make room for your crush." I waved my phone at him. "Your little lover sent me the bed photos of you too. I can't stand it. After 7 years together, don't make me sue for divorce. Let's end it amicably." Mike glanced at those photos and snorted. "You've seen more exciting things than this before. I'll tell her to stop making a fuss." I calmly interrupted him. "Mike, let's get a divorce for real. I have someone else." Mike said halfway, then stopped. "Fine, you have someone else." He almost maliciously smirked. "Call them here, and I'll sign the agreement." Even now, he still thinks my divorce agreement is just a scare tactic. I sighed and took out my phone to make a call. "Come over." This time, Mike was no longer calm. "Who are you calling?" He thought for a moment. "Is it the lead singer from that live house last time? The one who brought you back? You didn't even think if he can afford you." "I can afford him." I shrugged at Mike. "Don't forget, my family is also very wealthy, right?" It seemed like Mike was just realizing now that I was from a well-off family too. And before that, it was just my obsession with him that made him think he was superior. I presented him with so many projects, hoping he would appreciate my efforts, but in the end, he treated me like a fool. His expression finally darkened. "Susan, are you serious?" The roar of a motorcycle sounded. My boy finally arrived, shouting loudly outside. "Sis, I'm here to pick you up." I casually took off my homewear and grabbed the sexy leather suspender and shorts lying on the nearby sofa, then walked out directly. "Come back. Look at what you're wearing." Mike yelled frantically behind me. "Remember to sign the agreement." I raised my middle finger to him and rode away on the back of the motorcycle, leaving dust behind. The boy's eyes lit up when he saw me. "Sis, you look so hot today." I grabbed his face and kissed him on the cheek. "I can be even hotter." His face gradually turned red. His name was Mark. He was the lead singer of a band, with a head of grey hair dyed. The first time we met, the live house was packed. He got so excited while singing that he casually took off his shirt, and the sweat trickled down his honey-toned chest muscles and abs, causing screams from the audience. I admit, I was attracted by his looks. A friend happened to know the organizer, and that night we arranged to meet at the bar and invited their band to drink together. When Mark was called to come, he was very unwilling, acting all cool and tough. But then he saw me. He swallowed the latter part of his sentence. He obediently sat next to me that night, and I thought he recognized the $1 million Patek Philippe watch on my wrist. But little did I know his ambitions were even greater. Later, I heard from a friend that after that night, Mark quietly asked her for my contact information. She didn't give it. After a while, she went to the live house again, and to her surprise, he immediately recognized me. After the performance, he ran to me like an excited husky, with a face full of joy. "Sis, you finally came." He also looked a little aggrieved. "I've been singing for a month, just to see you." I couldn't help but reach out and ruffle his gray hair. His whole face wrinkled up. Men shouldn't be patted on the head. When I stopped, he obediently lowered his head and leaned in. "Except you." Then Mike's call came in, one after another, persistently. It's hard to imagine that he wouldn't give me a call for a whole week. Mark volunteered. "Should I answer for you?" I thought of Cindy's sassy appearance, disgustingly exaggerated, and casually tossed the phone to him. "You can answer." As soon as the call connected, there came Mike's furious roar from the other end. "Susan, get back here. Is there a dog barking?" Mark picked up the phone and deliberately said hello several times. Mike on the other end was almost about to explode. Let Susan answer the phone. "Who do you think you are?" "Me? I'm something that makes her happy." Mark chuckled. "She's not coming back tonight." Then he hung up. Did I perform well? Mark was loyal, and I scrutinized his handsome jaw for a while, deliberately asking him, "I called you to meet my husband. Are you not afraid?" Mark stared at me intently, the light in his eyes frighteningly bright. I suddenly felt something was off, just about to let go. Unexpectedly, he suddenly got closer, pushing me against the wall, breathing ambiguously, spraying on the side of my neck. "What are you doing?" He smiled, his nose teasingly rubbing mine, slowly reading out the message I had just sent him, word by word. "Want to meet my husband. Are you scared?" "I'm so scared. But, since you've let me be your shield, shouldn't you pay me first?" Then, the young man pressed me down with his strength. Mark easily held me with one hand, put me on the table, his voice low and magnetic. "Sister, your husband is not good." The young man's body exuded intense heat, and he smiled wickedly. "Do you want to try me?" In the morning when I got up from bed with a sore back, Mark was still asleep. His sleeping profile was pure and clean, but the exposed muscular back was filled with crisscrossing blood marks. I was furious. He was like a mad dog last night, didn't listen at all, and by the end, I was in tears. Seeing him about to wake up, I quickly tiptoed out. I had never been so disheveled in my life. It wasn't until I sat down in the office that I finally breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, an undeniable soreness came from my waist, and I sat on the office chair, grimacing in pain, and dared not move. When the secretary came in to deliver documents for me to sign, her gaze kept glancing at my neck. It wasn't until I went to the bathroom that I discovered it. My neck was a sight to behold. With a dark face, I picked up my phone and saw that Mark had sent me several messages. Feeling quite wronged. "Susan, are you not satisfied with my performance? Why did you run away as soon as I woke up?" "Susan, my bad. Give me a chance. I love you the most." I emotionlessly turned off the screen. After Cindy returned home, Mike was afraid of upsetting her. He, a busy man, attended to her every need, practically taking his heart out for her. The last time I saw a message from him was a confession video of a drone group on TikTok. Hundreds of drones formed a square, forming a picture of a couple kissing. Then it exploded into a sky full of scattered light dots. The host in the video excitedly raised his phone and screamed, "Whose confession scene is this?" Upon closer inspection, I found that these tactics were all ones he had used on me before. The ring he used to propose years ago, the drone video had been dominating for a while. My emotions were just practiced on me. Now that his crush had returned, he naturally wanted to show her rehearsed intense affection. As expected, that night Cindy posted a photo on Twitter of her holding hands tightly with a man. The ring on her left ring finger was very eye-catching. "Thank you for always waiting for me, Mike." Sharp-eyed netizens quickly noticed that the ring in the photo matched the one from the video that night. Cindy's fans were moved to tears. What a beautiful love story. The goddess of the cello and the young master's pure love myth. Mom, I believe in love again. Finally, some people online began to question, doesn't Mike have a wife? I immediately recognized it was Mike's hand. Why doesn't he take off the watch I bought him before fooling around with other women? Then some netizens uploaded a grid of photos from my wedding with Mike. Fans were utterly embarrassed. They began to claim, the one not loved is the other. I couldn't help but burst into laughter. I immediately posted a statement online confirming my identity. Cindy has always portrayed herself as the elegant and noble goddess of the cello. If she was wronged, Mike naturally had to make it up to her. The company announced her as their new spokesperson, but it didn't seem to have much effect. Everyone knows that I, as his wife, am known for my resilience. Now even I couldn't help but come out to mock, and the netizens were suddenly more excited. As the situation escalated, I received a call from my dad. Come back home. As soon as I entered the house, a harsh slap greeted me. In front of me was my father's face twisted with anger. Kneel down. I felt waves of darkness in front of my eyes, and it took me a while to come to my senses. What did I do wrong? Susan, you've lost all dignity, considering divorce. We can't afford to lose this person from our family. Our kind of family. I covered my face, coldly mocking him. Are you referring to those who maintain their so-called dignity by living off leftovers from their family? Now that Mike's crush has returned home, and he's displaying affection so openly, should I go ahead and become a joke for everyone? He was furious, his nostrils flaring as he exhaled vigorously. It's all because of your incompetence. 7 years and not a single child. You deserve to be dumped. His stepmother brought tea to comfort him. Don't anger yourself. This can't be solely Susan's fault. Mike is known as a playboy. This should just be a passing phase. She turned around and deliberately urged me again. Susan, Aunt specially went to get you some fertility medicine. If you take it back and drink it, you will definitely be able to conceive a child. Men should have a son. Behind her, my half-brother from a different mother was looking at me smugly, making a lewd gesture. My family has been in decline for years. The family business largely relied on Mike's support. My father held onto our family business with my mother's help. My mother, in poor health, only gave birth to me, a daughter, but my father always longed to have a son to inherit the company. Only a month after my mother's death, my stepmother walked in with a protruding belly, and that's when my nightmare began. Whenever the family encountered any difficulties, my stepmother would kindly suggest seeking help from Mike. After all, it was hard to refuse help when the family was in such a difficult situation. She always put on a gentle appearance. They thought Susan was lucky, their family was wealthy, and even a small amount of help from them could sustain us for a lifetime. Besides, with the family doing well, not only would Susan have a backing, but also could provide some help for my half-brother in the future. Then she turned and struck up a conversation with Cindy. And then it happened again and again. In Mike's eyes, I became even more shameless, willingly degraded myself. I originally thought Mike would step up to protect his crush. After all, in the art circle, one could be uninhibited, but must not ruin their reputation. Unexpectedly, that evening, the company's official account announced that Cindy was their spokesperson, and then there was no other news. Given that Mike was already married, apart from some of Cindy's fanatical fans, the public's perception was more inclined towards normalcy. As a result, Cindy's reputation suffered greatly, with reports saying that several concerts' tickets were returned. Just when I was wondering, my friend Wendy called me, laughing heartily on the other end. Serves him right, something's up with Mike's family. Ever since she got a boyfriend, this guy has been looking radiant, encouraging me every day to do the same. Very indecent. What's the story? I heard from Stephen that there's another illegitimate child from Mike's family that showed up. I was not particularly interested. Isn't this just keeping up appearances? Mike and his father are really cut from the same cloth. When his father was young, he too was known as a playboy, and only settled down later in life, but still, there would occasionally be some rumors about him outside. There would be so-called long-lost relative acts happening every now and then. Wendy burst out laughing. This time it seems real. Apparently he returned from studying at Oxford, the child of his father's long-lost love. Back then, these two were separated by their families, sending their first love abroad, who unexpectedly remained silent for over 20 years overseas, and even had children. Coincidentally, their company was having its annual meeting at this time. Of course, I didn't want to go, but emotions are emotions, business is business. However, Wendy told me they were planning to publicly acknowledge their relationship at the annual meeting, and also hinted for me to bring Mark along for her to see. I thought about it, and called Mark. Are you free tonight? Accompany me to an event. But to my surprise, he actually turned me down, sounding embarrassed on the phone. Susan, I have a performance tonight that I can't get out of. Can I pick you up later? Young men, indeed unreliable. True to form, Mike was standing next to Cindy. There I was, and there he was, parading around with his mistress. All eyes intentionally, or unintentionally shifted towards me. But Mike didn't even spare me a glance, clearly intending to embarrass me. Cindy's friends, naturally, weren't going to stay behind. As I was picking up dessert, I overheard two of Cindy's friends gossiping. Ridiculous, a person like that also showed up at the annual meeting. They are all about to divorce, yet still putting on a show like this. If I were her, I would have been ashamed enough to file for divorce voluntarily. I walked straight up to the two of them. Who are you talking about? Who's getting a divorce? These girls nowadays are really something. Do your blind dates know you're already thinking about divorce and dividing the assets before marriage? But if you need it, I can introduce you to the best divorce lawyer. My voice was not low, and Cindy's friends didn't expect me to confront them directly. The eyes of the surrounding people all looked over, and their faces immediately turned red. Susan, Wendy came over just in time to witness this scene. I said, "Are you rushing in to stand up for your friend sincerely? Or do you also want to take her place?" Having their thoughts exposed, the two women stamped their feet and left angrily. Pathetic. I shook my head. This level of fighting power is just embarrassing. Wendy wasn't alone. She had Stephen behind her. Wendy impatiently sent him away. "You go play by yourself. I have something to talk to Susan about." Stephen didn't look too pleased, but under Wendy's death stare, he walked away with a look of dismay. The two of them seemed to have a good relationship, and seeing Wendy finally get over her past relationship with her ex-boyfriend, I genuinely felt happy for her. There was definitely some chemistry between them, just a little short of something. But for some people, once something is missed, it's missed. They had done several DNA tests, so it should be correct. I nodded. No wonder why Mike looked embarrassed and didn't dare to openly defend Cindy. After all, I was never within his protection range. By the way, Wendy looked at me with some concern. "I heard that there seems to be some trouble in your dad's company again. Be careful, they might come after you." "It's fine," I reassured her. "I'm prepared. Just hoping they won't make a move." Just then, I heard the sound of spoons tapping on wine glasses, and everyone's eyes turned towards the source of the sound. Mike's father was dressed up with a vibrant look tonight, his face showing uncontrollable joy. In stark contrast, his wife's face was filled with sorrow. "Let me introduce my youngest son, Mark, who has recently returned to the country." His grey hair had been dyed back to black, his bangs pushed back to reveal a handsome forehead. He looked somewhat familiar to me, and now he stood on the side in a three-piece suit, chin up, with a cold and distant expression. I was shocked to realize his subtle resemblance to Mike. I couldn't believe that the illegitimate child was Mark. How could he be Mike's brother? "Wow, you are quite something." Mike suddenly appeared behind me, looking at his father with a grim face, every word he uttered cutting like a knife. "Did you know he was my dad's illegitimate child? That's why you made your move ahead of time. Couldn't handle being just a stepbrother, so went for the illegitimate one. Your family really plans far ahead." Mike's words were sharp and filled with disdain. I chuckled. "Perhaps you need to have your head examined. Your controlling mom couldn't even find your brother. Why would you think I would know? Oh, and if you don't want Cindy to end up with a bastard like your brother, you better sign those divorce papers quickly." Mike's eyes narrowed. He glared at me. "I received an anonymous letter a few days ago, with a pregnancy report attached." I poked his chest. "Honestly, I'm not interested in the four-dimensional ultrasound of a bastard. Cindy is quite interesting." I giggled. "You really think a pregnancy report can drive me crazy? How absurd. It's like anyone can have one of these." Just when the tension between us was escalating, his father's voice broke in. "Susan, come and meet your brother, Mark." The standard smile on Mark's face didn't waver when he saw me. He even politely extended his hand towards me like meeting a stranger. "Hello." I looked at him coldly, showing no intention of shaking hands. His father's face darkened, a warning in his eyes. "Susan." Mark was flexible. Seeing that I didn't shake his hand, he smiled and withdrew it without feeling embarrassed. Since he was ready to make family ties, having met Mike before, how could he not recognize me? Mike's reaction was probably the opposite. He was probably wondering how his beloved brother, with such meticulous intentions, approached me to instigate him. The atmosphere was unbearably awkward. After a few forced exchanges, Mark was taken away, but in that passing moment, a note was suddenly slipped into my hand. Some people may seem upright in public, but engage in despicable acts privately, like passing notes to their sister-in-law. I glanced at the note. It was from Mark. "Susan, give me a chance to explain to you," with a pitiful puppy head drawn on it. I crumpled the note and tossed it aside. When I came out of the restroom, I found someone waiting at the door. Honestly, I was already in a bad mood at this point, but someone was still eager to make trouble. I stopped in my tracks, looking at Cindy in front of me. "What are you here for? You received that photo, right?" Cindy dropped her goddess smile, crossed her arms against the door, looking mocking. "Then what?" I asked her. "So, why haven't you divorced yet?" Cindy sneered. "You surely know that you've always been my stand-in, right? As long as I say a word, Mike won't let you get pregnant. You've been married for 7 years. Isn't his mom a pushover? Now that I'm back, he came to me first thing, announced our relationship, and here you are, still holding on to this position. Have you no shame? I clapped for her. Well said. Why don't you go tell Mike that? Why don't you marry him? Is it because you don't want to? Cindy's face immediately turned sour. That's because you refuse to divorce. I kindly pointed her the way. The next time you show up at my door to sleep with him, check the third drawer in the bedside table. I've already placed the divorce papers there, with the name signed. I've wanted a divorce for a long time. It's him who refuses. I pushed past the stunned Cindy, patting her shoulder. Cindy shouted after me as I headed downstairs. Do you think you've won? As I was about to take a detour, I saw my father trying to cozy up to Mike. While he always showed courtesy to his elders, there was a hint of impatience in his eyes now. Just as I was about to walk away, a hand grabbed mine. I instinctively turned around, only to see Cindy's face filled with hatred. Then, she fell back heavily, with a loud scream. All eyes turned to see Cindy screaming as she fell from upstairs. And there was my hand, left hanging in the air. Meanwhile, Mike's father was asking Mark to introduce himself. Everything seemed to slow down. I saw Mike rushing towards Cindy without hesitation. I saw his father's face change color in an instant. I saw my father storming over, pointing and shouting at me in anger. Mike yelled at me while holding Cindy. Susan, what have you done to her? Cindy, clutching his arms, looked as if she was bearing great suffering and injustice. Mike, I'm fine. Don't make things difficult for Susan, she said, tears welling up in her eyes and rolling down. In the midst of the chaos, the microphone was gently tapped, and a young male voice with a smile sounded. Let me introduce myself again. I'm Mark. Just returned to the country this year. Even Cindy, who was sobbing in Mike's arms, lifted her head. With a stern face, Mike bellowed at me. Susan, what are you doing? In the quiet environment, his words sounded especially abrupt. Mark flashed me a familiar, sinister smile. He then walked over, stood in front of me, and looked at Mike provocatively. Brother, what do you want to do to her? He glanced around. This is a family meeting. All our partners are here, and here you are, embracing another woman outside, pointing at your wife and yelling. Do you think this is appropriate? People around started whispering. Their father treasures his reputation, his face almost purple with rage. Mike and Mark. The conflict between the two was about to erupt. Mike stared at Mark's hand gripping my wrist tightly. Let her go. Just then, Cindy suddenly cried out in pain, blood gushing from her legs, staining the floor red. In no time, Mike was thrown into confusion. Ambulance, ambulance. Unfortunately, the venue for the annual meeting was the top floor hall, and the elevator was taking an eternity to come. In a fit of panic, Mike carried Cindy and ran downstairs. At the same time, I felt a light touch on my feet, and Mark effortlessly scooped me up. Let's go, I'll take you to the hospital. I looked at him in confusion, and he winked at me. Susan, do you want to stay here? I tilted my head and closed my eyes quickly. Just as Mike dashed out with Cindy in his arms, the press outside, who had been waiting for a long time, went wild taking photos. Cindy's fans were there too, mourning and crying, accusing me of being a heartless person. With some malicious thoughts, I wondered if they thought I had fallen to my death right there. Without even looking, I could guess what the headline of the day would be. People thrusted microphones towards me, each question piercing through my soul. I sat up straight in a state of shock, flipping him off. Do you use your mouth for eating food and excrement at the same time? The journalist was infuriated. Mark quickly used his suit to cover me. Under the escort of a group of bodyguards, he carried me and hurried into the waiting car. As I stepped into the car, I vaguely heard Mike calling out to me. I wanted to turn back, but was held down. Don't listen, it's just a dog barking. My phone began vibrating incessantly, flooded with numerous messages, which I couldn't be bothered to read. Well, this was just great. I reckoned Mike and I would share the headlines tomorrow. He took his crush to the hospital in the late night. His illegitimate brother took me away from the annual meeting venue overnight. After driving for a while, I ordered the car to stop. What's wrong, Susan? Mark turned from the passenger seat. What do you think? Pretending to be innocent at a time like this. I almost burst out laughing, reaching for the door. Mark was taken aback. Stop, let's talk. He asked the driver to pull over, took the wheel himself, and then started to stall. I didn't lie, I was acting, still pretending to be dumb at this point. Are you? I glanced at him casually. Mark, if you're going to act this way, then there's nothing more to talk about. He turned back to look at me firmly, his earlier frivolous demeanor fading, replaced by a hint of frustration as he scratched his head. I understand. The car was driven to the seaside. Mark didn't rush to speak. He hopped out of the car, leaned against it, and started smoking one by one. The cigarette ends flickered red in the darkness. I knew he was nervously calculating how much to say and where to stop. Indeed, a top-notch Oxford graduate. I crossed my arms, waiting for the clever bad boy to start his performance. Susan, I did approach you with ulterior motives at the beginning. He indeed resorted to playing the sympathy card, pitifully reaching for my hand. Yes, I see. I couldn't help but sneer. By getting close to you, making Mike notice you, and then finding a way to confront him with your discovered background, turning your competition into a ladder for my advancement. What's more wonderful is that this was initiated by Mike himself. Should I commend you for creating such a flawless plan? Mark visibly hesitated. Susan, you really see through me. That was indeed my initial intention, but then I realized, you actually piqued my interest. When I saw Mike yelling at you for another woman, I couldn't help but step in. Seriously, if I wanted to use you, I wouldn't have stepped in under those circumstances. The more Mike loses control, consumed by another woman, the more advantageous it is for me. I refuse to believe his nonsense. Don't exaggerate things. I thought you were only trying to make your father feel more guilty. He chuckled, blowing out a smoke ring, exuding a somewhat mature and refined vibe in the night breeze. Susan, you're too clever. It makes things difficult for me. Fine, you did help me just now. Let's call it even. I waved my hand dismissively at him, unwilling to admit that I had actually developed feelings for him. I must have owed the Song family a lot of money in my past life to be entangled with these brothers in this life. The high heels sank into the sand with each step, making me stumble and almost sprain my ankle. Frustrated, I took off the heels and continued walking barefoot. But before I could go far, I heard hurried footsteps behind me. A young man, with a feverish body, grabbed me from behind tightly, his voice filled with deep grievance. Susan, do you really not want me anymore? I instinctively wanted to kick him, but he grabbed my ankle and pulled me into his arms. The shadow loomed over us as he held my chin firmly, his kiss hiding tremors underneath. Was he afraid? I looked into his eyes, noticing a hint of redness. He lifted me and placed me on the hood of a car, his kisses suddenly gentle and cautious. Susan, I was wrong. I said all those things out of anger. I had no idea you were his wife when we met at the bar. I can show you. Before returning home, I had offers from several companies. I never intended to meddle in this mess. My mom had let it go long ago. Until I met you. He controlled me between his chest and the car hood, his prominent nose almost touching mine, clingy and shameless. Susan, do you know you've changed my whole life? His expression was so sincere that, for a moment, I almost forgot to breathe. I did have ulterior motives. His voice was heavy and hoarse. But Susan, I want to win you back. Mike won't let you go. He's a fool who can't see his own heart. Unlike me, on the first day back home, I already knew who I'd love for the rest of my life. I tried to sit up, but he took the opportunity to steal a kiss. Will you forgive me? Show me your answer. I touched his hair, feeling rough and stiff. Seeing Mark T-scared in dissatisfaction, he continued to touch me. Then, effortlessly, he held me with one hand and sat me on his arm like a large doll, picking up the high heels I had thrown. Let's go back. The news of Cindy's miscarriage has been leaked by someone with malicious intent. Mike's mom never wanted Cindy in the family, let alone with such a scandal now. It's a total disgrace. That night, Mike actually called me, but it was already well past midnight. Perhaps after calming Cindy down, he finally had time to think of me, his rightful wife. He didn't sleep, nor cared if others were asleep. Since the call didn't go through, he sent a long message of inquiries. Why did I get involved with Mark, his illegitimate son? Was I trying to get back at him? Not a single word of concern for me. I replied with a divorce agreement backed up on the computer for him to sign before contacting me. Then I blocked him. Throughout all this, Mark stuck close to me, watching with glee. When our eyes met, he immediately looked away, pretending to focus on his phone screen. Then he turned and asked me, Susan, can I dance with you? Who could refuse that? His hair was back to grey, a metal mouthguard covering his face with movable wolf ears, wearing a tight black tank top showing off his tattoos and muscles. After that wild night, I woke up sore only to find an empty bed. Going to the living room, I saw breakfast on the table and a note. Susan, breakfast is ready. Warm it up when you wake up. I have rehearsals for tonight's birthday. Remember to come to the live house at 8. Looking at the radiant woman in the mirror, I sighed deeply. In the afternoon, I pampered myself at a beauty salon for the whole afternoon. From head to toe, I was meticulously groomed. Wearing sunglasses, I had no idea what awaited me that night would be a grand declaration of love. During the final encore, Mark secretly prepared a confession ceremony behind me. The usually rebellious young man even blushed slightly as he rubbed his nose shyly. Today, the girl I like is here, and I want to confess to her, but I'm afraid she'll reject me. A spotlight shone on my seat, and the surrounding crowd burst into laughter and cheers. The clamor grew from scattered to a roaring wave, and I was almost stunned. The young man's love was so fervent and obvious that it almost engulfed me entirely. Mark walked down from the stage, knelt in front of me, solemnly kissing my hand. "Will you accept me?" I instinctively covered my mouth, unable to contain my smile, and finally grasped his hand. In that moment, I saw his eyes light up, but what I didn't expect was Mike appearing in the audience. He almost raged as he rushed onto the stage, landing a heavy punch on Mark's face. "She's mine." The two men started fighting on stage, chaos erupting among the fans below, with countless phones recording the scene. It became a mess that was hard to contain. In the end, it all ended with Mike being kicked down from the stage by Mark. The ambulance came roaring. We all left in a rush, until Mike was taken into the emergency room. Mark came over and sat next to me, his tall figure still looking somewhat pitiful. "Susan, he hit me," he said. "Me? It seemed like you were the one who kicked him off the stage, right?" He looked even more unhappy. "Do you feel sorry for him?" I glanced at him and reached out to ruffle his hair. "Of course not." Mark immediately softened, sitting next to me like a well-behaved large dog, even starting to play a game. I must have dozed off leaning on Mark's shoulder for some time. The nurse's voice sounded. "Excuse me, who is Susan? The patient wants to see you." I was about to get up, but Mark next to me pressed me down. "You're not going alone. We'll go together." Cindy finally showed up at this moment. I have to say, at this moment she could still put on a pitiful makeup. The dedication alone was admirable. I thought for a moment and took out the divorce agreement to hand it to her. "Go in and see him. Also sign the agreement for me to bring out." "I won't go in." Cindy was clearly taken aback. "I don't care what agreement you reached with my stepmother before. I advise you not to provoke me now, or I don't know what I might do." In that moment, her face turned pale, and she dared not say another word. Of course she wouldn't dare. My first child was lost because of her and my stepmother's collusion. What was the reward? A measly $200,000. My stepmother's good brother owed $200,000 in gambling debts, asked me to get rid of the child, and Cindy was supposed to pay for it. Cindy hadn't been in for long when I heard Mike's furious roar. Susan, come in." Mark took off his headphones and put them on me, saying, "Susan, there's a dog barking, don't listen." But I didn't expect Mike to have a concussion and still come out to question me. "Susan, we're not divorced yet, and you're accepting a love confession from an illegitimate child in front of so many people. Do you even remember your identity? Have you no shame?" I patted the little dog beside me, who was about to go berserk, and calmly asked him back. "Anne, is it not shameless for you to run out hugging a miscarried mistress in front of so many people?" Cindy's eyes welled up with tears. "Mike, it's all my fault." Cindy tried to pull him, but he pushed her away, falling to the ground in a sorry state. She was about to pretend to cry, but Mike turned coldly to her. "Shut up, all right? Let's not make a scene in the hospital corridor. Show some manners, okay?" Mark lazily interfered. "Don't you need rest? Other patients need rest too." I saw the little nurse nodding vigorously. Throughout the whole process, Mike stared at me as if trying to find some hidden feelings for him on my face. What's the point? It wasn't until he was settled in the ward that I handed him the divorce agreement again, and he seemed to finally come back to his senses from his dream. "Honey, are you serious?" Now he's calling me honey again. He didn't say that when he was shouting at me in front of his good friend and mistress. He would only coldly call me by my name. "Susan, get lost." I found it amusing. "With your true love and my mistress all here, you still don't want to get a divorce? Sign it quickly and let's go find our true loves. Do you really like him?" Mike's voice was terrifying. Mark sneered, suddenly pulled me close, kissed me on the cheek, then provocatively looked at Mike. "She's mine now." I had never seen Mike so furious, as if he had ignited something. He jumped off the bed and went straight for Mark. The two mad men wrestling was extremely scary, the bed and cabinet making terrible noises when hit, even the glass cracking vigorously from the impact. Mike grabbed Mark's head, attempting to smash it against the glass. "Let him go." I was terrified and quickly rushed to pull Mike away. "We're on the 16th floor. If the glass breaks and Mark falls, he's dead." Just when Mike, who had just refused to let go, saw me coming up to pull him away from Mark, he was completely stunned. It was as if he only now understood that I really wanted a divorce from him. Mark, panting heavily. Suddenly there was a loud noise. I didn't see what happened. The situation suddenly reversed. Mike was pinned against the glass. Even more terrifying was that the crack on the glass kept expanding, making a chilling sound. "I told you, she's mine." Mark's voice was low and cold. At that moment, I felt he really wanted to kill Mike. "She's mine." However, Mike continued to stare at me, as if he suddenly lost the will, looking completely lost. You helped him hit me. He seemed to finally understand. This time, I wasn't backing down. I really wanted to separate from him. Before, I made a huge scene in front of him, and he was indifferent. Now that I wanted to leave, he seemed to regret it. Cindy's face turned even uglier. She called a nurse over, and after a brave scolding from the nurse, Mike was sent back to bed. Mike only said one thing to her throughout. Don't think I don't know what you did. Get lost. Mike's parents finally arrived. There were too many people on the scene. The news of the two sons fighting over the same woman was something the reporters would love to hear. The news couldn't be suppressed at all. As a result, the trending topic Cindy bought a few days ago seemed like a joke. The stock prices plummeted, and the market value evaporated by 20% in just 2 days. Shareholders couldn't sit still, expressing doubts one after another about whether Mike as the heir was the right choice. If Mike continued as chairman, they would consider selling their stocks. Ironically, this worked out even cheaper for Mark. Mike's father had always lingered on his first love, especially now that his first love had returned with a son in tow. He had to find ways to make it up. Mike's father had a proper extramarital affair. His wife couldn't just let it go. Their family had always been concerned about reputation, but now it became a big joke within their circle. A mutual friend called to tell me that Mike was on the verge of drinking himself to death. I didn't want to go, but Mike snatched the phone. If you don't come, I won't sign the divorce agreement. I checked the time. It was midnight. Just 10 minutes ago, Mark was secretly messaging me, complaining about international meetings not considering time zones and how hungry he was, asking if I could cook him some noodles. Mark was working diligently, while Mike was drowning his sorrows at the bar. It seemed like the power struggle between the two brothers was already pretty clear. When I arrived, Mike's group of friends awkwardly greeted me and dispersed. Stop pretending to be asleep. I looked at the man on the couch, eyes shut tight, face turning blue, reeking of alcohol. It was really hard to feel any sympathy for him, even if there was any once. It had completely turned to ashes through his constant abrasiveness. You came. Mike, unshaven, struggled to sit up, and, seeing I had no intention of helping him up, got up on his own sullenly. Susan, I miss you so much. I avoided his attempt to hold my hand, feeling repulsed. Sign the divorce agreement. Also, in the future, if your friends need to find you, they should contact Cindy. I'm sure she'd be happy to come get you. Mike started crying, covering his face in agony, his voice filled with despair and choked sobs. I'm sorry, I really didn't know. Seeing him pull out the pregnancy test report, it dawned on me that I had forgotten it when I left. No wonder Mike had yelled at Cindy that day. It seemed he had found out about his crush Steed. So, I asked him, I've loved you for so many years, given my all to you. How could you treat me this way? Now that you've lost the heir position to Mark, or because you've hit rock bottom, you suddenly regret it and turn to me. Do you finally regret, because you realize, no one will love you as foolishly as I have? I said this not as groundless speculation. Cindy wasn't someone to underestimate. Realizing Mike was no longer of much use, she seemed to be preparing to migrate overseas again. Mark came back to present a gift, asking me if I wanted to keep her here. Of course, we have to keep her. She had caused so much harm. Did she really think everything would be fine if she fled overseas? Mike's eyes were bloodshot. Susan, it's not what you think. I always believed our relationship was full of scheming. I've never dared to believe you loved me, too. I told him calmly. On our 7th anniversary, I called you, and Cindy answered, saying you were in the shower. Didn't she tell you? Mike's lips trembled. Susan, you have to believe me. I really didn't know. He almost looked at my abdomen expectantly, asking tentatively, he's not here. I shook my head. The next day, I had an abortion. You have a cold heart, Mike accused me. How could you bear to do it? I just found it amusing. Let your Cindy bear your child, Mark interjected, wrapping his arm possessively around my shoulder, provocatively eyeing Mike. Mike looked lifeless, finally not saying a word, dejectedly leaving. It was only now that I felt Mark's tension loosening. Finally, they're gone. That report became the final straw that broke the camel's back. Mike was completely defeated. Cindy, seeing the warning signs, swiftly fled overseas. She planned to stay abroad for a few years, until the heat died down, and then return to make money. After she boarded the plane, I sent her a big gift. Her hands weren't clean for these years, playing backup with Mike while also entangling herself with wealthy locals. More importantly, she had started a pimping business under the guise of giving newcomers a chance, catapulting them into the hands of beasts. Some girls were played to the point of disability, some disappeared, and even the luckiest showed signs of mental issues. And Cindy, stepping on these girls' blood and flesh, gradually became a renowned cellist. She returned to the country only to avoid legal consequences. Mark had arranged for me to receive a live video. Cindy was pinned to the ground, screaming in agony as local police beat her like a dog. As for my dad, stepmother, and their greedy relatives, I had long prepared a pit for them. In recent years, I had been secretly repurchasing the company's shares. Seeing Mike fall, they were quick to latch onto Mark's benefits, sucking up and trying to mend ties, switching sides with a snap. Well, since they're all family, let's send the whole family neatly to hell. I'll send you off myself. To make up for his past wrongs, Mark cooperated diligently, digging deep into the case of how the stepmother's shameless relatives had transferred and embezzled company assets. He pushed that entire family to the police under charges of financial fraud. It turned out my dad had asthenospermia. The child my stepmother carried was actually her cousin's, and all these years, my good father had been raising someone else's child. The son he had long yearned for was actually a bastard. The shock was too much for him. He suffered a stroke. When he woke up, he had become a drooling, silly old man. As for Mike, Mark ruthlessly kicked both him and his father out of the decision-making level and ascended as a rich man who received annual dividends. Mike always immersed himself in love, unable to distinguish between right and wrong. Some people are meant to rot in the ground. Apart from getting married, I hadn't really thought of getting married so soon. Considering Mark's previous misconduct, I needed to scrutinize his intentions of being the companion for the rest of my life. As a woman, being financially independent was the key to happiness.